What's up, guys? This is Sig from FFXIP and Things, and this is How to MMORPG. In this episode, we're going to be talking about navigation, and just what we're doing is we're just going over some of the basics of how to play an MMORPG if you're just starting out, or you're thinking about starting up, getting into MMORPGs, or you have some friends that have invited you to play, but you want a little more information. That's just what this series is for. So today we're just going to talk about navigation and different forms of transportation in MMORPGs. Navigation in MMORPG is generally fairly easy. But sometimes it can get a little difficult or a little daunting, because generally the worlds and the maps are fairly large. But generally you're going to have a lot of tools at your disposal to be able to use to be able to navigate pretty easily. The first thing you definitely want to do is figure out how to open up your map. In Final Fantasy XIV, I'm playing on PS4. All I have to do is just hit the square button, and it'll bring up the map for me of the current area that I'm in. On PC and on keyboard, generally it's your M key. If you just hit M, usually it'll open up your map. But you can always check your keybinds or your controller settings, your key settings, to figure out what you should press, or what you need to press in order to bring up your map. So we can see here we've got maps here, and it is bound to the M key, and you can change this if you want, but at least so that way you'll know how to do it. On here we can see, I'm not sure why this is empty, but as far as just figuring out how to open your map, that's generally how you can do it. Just check your key bindings, check your keyboard settings and things like that. And as I said, as we said in some of the earlier episodes, I'm pretty sure, but definitely a general tip, if we didn't go over it, would be to just, when you first start up the game, after you've gotten, a feel for it a little bit or whatever, definitely go into your options and your settings and just take a look at them and see, if there's anything that you want to change, and what things do. So that way, if there is something, that you need to do or are looking to do, and somebody says, oh, just go to, character configuration, UI set, in the UI settings tab, at least you'll know how to get there, and they can direct you to where it is that you need to go to do what it is that you want to do. But yeah, so that way you'll know how to open up your map, and the map. We can resize it here, so we can make it a little bit bigger. And the map is generally just going to point out any kind of points of interest. And you can see here that we can pan around the map, and we can zoom in on the map. On PS4, what I'm doing is I'm using the right stick in order to pan the map. And if I use the left stick, it'll actually move my character and deselect the map. But all I have to do is hit square, and I'll go right back to the map again. And I can use the right stick to pan. To zoom in, if I hold L1 and push forward on the right stick, it'll zoom in. And if I push down on the right, or pull down on the right stick, it'll zoom out. But the map is just going to give you, it's just going to denote general points of interest in the zone that you're currently in. It'll tell you generally, and usually it's going to show you where quests are. So you can see here that this is a quest we can pick up, and it is telling us that it's a level 5 quest and the name of the quest. And then there's also one, it looked like right next to it somewhere. There we go. So there's another quest right next to it, a level 7 quest called Splifting Shells. Splifting? Also, you can see that the leave mate is there, and then there's one here too as well. We can see that the Aetheryte is here. We can see that there's a Chocobo Porter here, right here, and the mailbox is here, and usually it'll show us too. I'm not sure why it's not. Oh, there we go. And there's a vendor here, so it's just going to show us where things are. And if we were to have a quest in this area, it would usually just going to show us where that quest is, either through objective points, like points where we need to go and investigate something or interact with something, or we'll see denotation like this of a quest area. This is generally where what you're looking for is for this quest, and it'll generally, when you hover over, it'll say what quest that is. Let's see if we can do that real quick. Let's just go ahead and make our way and pick up that quest, so we can show you and give you a little example. And you'll also have a mini map. You can see here, down here's the mini map for Final Fantasy XIV, and that's just a very quick tool to just look at. I think we can go through here to get to that quest. Yeah. All right. So let's see here. Here in a second. Let's just accept this quest here. Alright, so now you can see we've accepted the quest Splifting Shells, and here we have a marker or a circle here that's letting us know that the quest area, the things that we're looking for in order to complete this quest, are in this general area. So all we need to do is head down there and head into there, and we'll find what we need to complete the quest that we're on. It's also going to tell us the level of the quest and the name of the quest as well. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and we're going to get rid of that. I'm going to save that for later. And that's generally it for the map. Now they're not always going to be very. It's not always going to denote everything. Like you can see here, that in order to get this area, it almost looks like we could just walk right over. But in reality, when you get into the game world, it's going to be a bit different. So let's go ahead and let's try making our way over that way. So you can see we've got this river here, and it looks like we can might be able to hop our way over across the river. Yep. And you can see that this is our character here. And in Final Fantasy XIV, it gives us a cone of our field of view. So if I move, you can see that my character's icon moves, and if I spin the camera, it actually shows us with that cone which way we're actually looking with the camera. But it also denotes which way our character is facing. So our character is always facing. So our character currently is. We'll do it a little more directly if we can. There we go. There we go. So our character is currently facing west. If we spin the camera, he's still facing west. But we're just looking around here. So let's go over here. I'm trying to make our way over this way. So you can see the map doesn't really clearly indicate that to get there, and doesn't clearly indicate what's actually here. But what's actually there is this huge branch, this huge root that for this, I guess this tree there maybe, or one of the trees, that we're actually going to have to cross up, or we're actually going to have to cross in order to get to that next area. So the map isn't always going to be as detailed as you might hope, but it will give you definitely a general idea of where you need to go. And if you can't figure out where to go, it's definitely a good idea to just kind of run around that general area, kind of do a little, run around that little area and see if there's a, if there's a ramp that you need to go up, or if there's a cave that you need to go into in order to get to that next area. But yeah, it's definitely, sometimes it'll take a little bit of exploration to figure out exactly where you need to go. Now the mini map is just a small, there's a little small reference for where you are. So it generally doesn't have, give you too much information because it's usually zoomed in, but you can see here that in Final Fantasy 14 at least, that we can actually zoom in and out on the mini-map. So if we hover over here and click, we can actually zoom out a little bit to give us a wider field of view. But let's go, and we can see that the icons are still present on the mini-map, so we can see that there's a vendor there, that there's an aetheryte there, that there's the mailboxes there. Now we can set this map, to either, for Final Fantasy 14, and again, messing with the settings a little bit and customizing it can make your experience a lot better, because you'll know how it works and you'll be able to understand it a lot easier. So I have the map set to spin whenever I spin. So if I spin the camera, the map spins. But let's say you didn't want to do that, you know what I mean? Because, if somebody says head north, you know what I mean? You gotta check the camera. You gotta check the map and everything like that. It has a denotation for north. But let's just say you didn't want to do that. And on here, on Final Fantasy 14, we can lock it so that the top is always north, the bottom's always south, west and east are always the same. So if somebody says north and I'm looking at my camera, I'm looking at the map, and I know which way I'm facing, I can just go ahead and head north. I mean, you can do that if you want to, and sometimes that makes it a little bit easier. But I do like the spin for the mini-map, just because it makes it a little bit easier for me. So let's try and pick up another quest to show what the mini-map will denote for us. Oh no, we don't want to do this. Let's go ahead and go pick that. We should have just kept that other quest. And that's generally it for navigation. Really, it's just going to be well, no, not really. We're going to go pick up this quest, and then we'll talk about something else. The next part, this quest up real quick. Okay, and if you can see on the mini-map, it actually gives us this little arrow right here that shows us that we have a quest in that general direction. Now this is where it kind of can get a little befuddling, is arrows like that don't really give you very specific information. They just give you a very general information of head to X direction. So it's kind of like a hot and cold kind of thing. You have a quest over here. Now let's say that this quest wasn't right there, right? We might come to this point and go, well, there's a tree here, and there's this tunnel over here, but I'm still seeing that arrow. You know what I mean? So when you see arrows like that, it's just a general. It's a good idea just to head in that general direction. If you come to an obstacle or something like that, like a mountain or something like that, and you're not sure if you should head around the mountain to the right or around the mountain to the left in order to get to your quest, definitely just pull up the big map, and that'll give you a better idea. Okay, so let's say the quest was actually in here. You know what I mean? The arrow would be pointing down this way, but we wouldn't know if we were just looking at the mini-map whether or not we needed to go this way, if there was something over here that we could get to, or if there was something down here. So if you ever in doubt of which way to go, just definitely pull up the big map and see, okay, so we know that this quest is here, but let's just say it was down here. And then that way we would know, okay, so we need to head down this way, we need to head, south for a bit, and then we'll take a left here, and then we'll take another left here, and that'll just give you a better idea how to get to where you need to be, how to get to your quests, and things like that, or any point of interest. You can see here that we also have a blue arrow, which in Final Fantasy 14 is good to note that there's a fate active nearby, and it's right over there, so we can follow the general direction to find that fate, or if we wanted more specific information, we could pull up the map to see that. The next thing about navigation that we'll talk about is generally MMORPGs are broken up, or the worlds of MMORPGs are broken up into zones. So currently you can see up here that we're in the Black Shroud, and we're in the Central Shroud, which is a zone within the Black Shroud. The Black Shroud is going to be just a collection of zones. In game terms, in the game world, it's going to be a specific location for sure, but in game terms, it's going to be just a collection of zones. So we're in Central Shroud. If we click on this here, we can get a list of the different zones within. Oops. Let's see if we can do that. The different zones within the Black Shroud. There we go. And it's going to list even dungeons and things like that. But we can at least see the different zones within the Black Shroud. And if we go back up here, we can actually go to the different areas or the different collections of zones. So we could go to Lanos, right? And this is going to show us, okay, this is the area or country of Lanos, and these are the zones within that country or within that collection of zones, so that we know, okay, so if we had a quest in Eastern Lanos, you know, we would want to go, you know, we would want to go there. And Eastern Lanos is connected to Upper Lanos, it's connected to Middle Lanos, and it's connected to Lower Lanos. So let's just say we're in the Black Shroud. Let's just say, so here we can see all the zones within the Black Shroud. There's the North Shroud. There's Old Gridania. There's New Gridania. There's the East Shroud. There's the Lavender Beds. There's Central Shroud, and there's South Shroud. And you can see that we actually have some icons next to these zones. So here we see that we've got our player icon, which lets us know that we're currently in Central Shroud. And we also have a quest icon that lets us know, hey, we've got an active quest in Central Shroud. So if we wanted to know what that quest was, we could just click on it or hit X, and it would bring us to the map of Central Shroud. And we can see that currently we're here, and that the quest that we have active in this zone is here. Let's go back to the Black Shroud. But we can also see that we have a quest active in the Lavender Beds, which is a zone that we're not currently in. So let's say we wanted to figure out how to get to that zone. We can see that, at least for Final Fantasy XIV, they show you which zones are connected. So we can see that in order to get to the Lavender Beds, we can either come from Old Gridania, we can follow the trail there, or we can come from Central Shroud, then we can follow that link there. These are the two places that we can get to the Lavender Beds from. So we're in Central Shroud, so we can get to the Lavender Beds from Central Shroud. So let's see if we can figure out how to do that. Now, in Final Fantasy XIV, they give us a big marker that says, hey, this is, anything in blue is going to be an exit to another zone. So let's go back. Let's go back to the Black Shroud. So we can see that Central Shroud is connected to North Shroud, so we can get to the North Shroud from Central Shroud. We can get to the South Shroud, we can get to the East Shroud, and we can get to New Gridania. All you can see that all the zones are the text is all in blue, in light blue. So anything in light blue, and we can see that anything in light blue is going to be an exit from this zone into another zone, or into another zone, or into the next zone. So this here is going to be where the exit to East Shroud is. So if we want to go to East Shroud, we just need to head up that way, and that will take us to East Shroud. If we wanted to go to South Shroud, this would be South Shroud here. And you can see that they're actually based on the cardinal directions. This is east, this is south. If we wanted to go to North Shroud, we'd kind of have to pan around a little bit, but North Shroud is up here. And here's an exit for New Gridania, here's the exit for another exit for New Gridania, and here's the exit for the Lavender Beds. And you can see that in Final Fantasy XIV, what they've done is they've highlighted the Lavender Beds with this box that lets us know that, hey, we've got an active quest in the Lavender Beds, and if you want to complete that quest, or if you want to continue on with that quest, here's the exit to go to that quest. And generally that's the way it's going to be. They're usually divided up into zones. The zones are fairly large usually, but the maps are going to give you a lot of information on where you need to go and how to get to different places. So you can see that these are the exits for into other zones, and you can see that they actually have also labeled certain areas on the map in the zone as specific places. So this is the green tier in Central Shroud. And then let's see what we have down here is the mirror, and so some of the information for quests and some of the information for hunting specific monsters and things like that. Like if you're looking for a specific enemy online through one of the databases or resources, it might say that this enemy resides in Central Shroud in the Jadeite thicket or in the Jadeite thick. And so that way you would know, okay, well here's the general area of the Jadeite thick. All right, so is that monster we're looking for somewhere in here. So you could look at where you are and go, okay, so we just need to head north a little bit and we'll find the Jadeite thick, and we just have to search in that general area to find the enemy that we're looking for. And that's generally it for navigation. There's really not too much to it. It can become a little daunting, at first for sure. Because you really do have to some degree, you do have to learn the map. You do have to learn the zone, learn the area, and how to get to particular places. Because the map is going to show you where they are, but it's not necessarily going to tell you how to get there, as we saw with the big route that we had to climb. But once you're familiar, having the map will give you familiarity with the direction that you need to go to get to certain places, and then going there is going to give you a familiarity with how to actually get there. Now there are multiple ways to get places though as well, which will kind of lead us to navigation. Generally in MMORPGs, there's going to be different forms of transportation. There's going to be different modes of transportation. You always are going to be able to walk wherever you need to go, and you can see we could walk anywhere on this map for the most part, or anywhere in this zone. But there's generally going to be faster ways to get to the places that you want to go. In Final Fantasy XIV, we have teleportation, or there's teleportation. So each zone is going to have generally at least one aetheryte, which is denoted on the map by this little crystal here, and the game world is going to be this is the actual representation of this is the actual aetheryte. And so what you do, the way that it works is when you get to a zone, you find the aetheryte, you just select the aetheryte and you activate it either by on PS4 by you can use your touchpad to select it and select it, or you can hit X when you're near it to select it and then hit X again to activate it. Or you can, on PC, use the mouse to click on it and I think right click to activate it, and you'll attune to that aetheryte. And what attuning does is it allows you to teleport to this aetheryte. Generally most MMORPGs, I would imagine, that I think are going to have some kind of teleportation or fast travel is what they call it. It's a way to travel to a place quickly without having to walk from point A to point B. You can just directly teleport to that point. So in Final Fantasy XIV we can teleport. So let's go ahead and teleport to these are and so in Final Fantasy XIV, in order to teleport, we just have to open up our menu. On PS4, I just hit the options button and I head over to travel and I go down to teleport. If you're using PC, I believe you have a main menu bar that generally is in the bottom right hand corner, I think, originally, and that should have your teleport button there that you would just click to open up your teleport menu. And when you do that, you'll see here, these are all the places, all the zones that we can teleport to, all the places we can teleport to, and all the places where we have attuned to an aetheryte. Now currently I'm on our Let's Play character, Sig's Let's Play, and so we've attuned to quite a few. So if we wanted to go anywhere, if we wanted to go somewhere else, like on this list, we can see all we would have to do is select it, and we can see on the right hand side of the menu that there is a fee for the teleportation. So if we wanted, we're currently in Central Shroud, but if we wanted to teleport to Central Shroud, let's just say that we were all the way down here, right, and we needed to come back to turn in a quest, but we did not feel like walking, you know, for whatever reason. We're lazy, we're being lazy, or it's been a long day and we're just trying to get some stuff done, whatever. Maybe we don't want to teleport, we don't want to have to walk or run all the way back up to Central Shroud. We could teleport to Central Shroud, and that teleportation is going to cost us 100 gil, which is not a big deal. You know what I mean? It is what it is, if that's what you want to do, or if you want to teleport here to East Shroud, we could do that, but all you have to do is, generally you're going to have to find, you're going to have to attune to something, you're going to have to activate to something in a zone in order to be able to teleport to that area. Now again, we could walk everywhere if we wanted to. In Final Fantasy XIV, there's the sprint ability, which if we activate it, makes us move a little bit faster. You can see that we actually get a counter here, up here. We actually get an effect for sprint, and it lasts for 20 seconds, which is not always going to last for 20 seconds. It's affected by how much TP we have, but we won't talk about that. We're not worried about that right now. We're not worried about that at all. We're not worried about that. So we can use that sprint to get places faster. There's also the Chocobo Porter, and generally, I know that in WoW you had flight points, and once you had found a flight point, you could use it to fly to any other point that you had found. In Final Fantasy XIV, there's something very similar. We have the Chocobo Porter here. So what we can do is we can hire a Chocobo to take us anywhere that we have activated another Chocobo Porter within the same collection of zones. Now, I don't think that you can take a Chocobo Porter from Central Shroud in Black Shroud to Horizon in Thanalan. I don't think that you can do that, but anywhere within the zone you can take a Chocobo Porter too. So that's another form of transportation, and what that will do is it puts you on a Chocobo, and it's an autopilot, and it just takes you to where you need to go. It even gives you arrival time, so it's going to take you a minute, and it's only going to cost you 5 gil to get to Gridania if you take the Chocobo Porter. So that's another mode of transportation. The fourth and final general mode of transportation is going to be mounts. Generally, every MMORPG is going to have some kind of mount system. In Final Fantasy XIV, you get Chocobos. So you can see here that we actually already have our Chocobo here. There's a quest line that you have to do in Final Fantasy XIV once you hit level 20 and have progressed so far within the main story in order to acquire a Chocobo. But a Chocobo is just a mount. It's like a horse or anything like that, and it allows you to move a lot faster over zones, so you can ride or walk, however you want to think about it, for sure, to wherever it is that you need to go. Some MMOs will have mounts with varying speeds that you'll have to meet different requirements for. So your first mount may make you move 120% faster, and once you meet a certain requirement or condition, you may be able to get a mount that moves 200% faster. And then, of course, there are sometimes flying mounts as well. In Final Fantasy XIV, the expansion Heavenward was just released recently, which added in flying mounts. Now, you can't fly in any of the original zones, but Heavensward added a good number of new zones and new questing areas, and all those questing areas you are able to fly in. There are conditions that you have to meet in order to do that, but you will be able to fly. So there's also flying mounts as well, but that's generally how you get around. Generally, your modes of transportation in MMOs. When you first start off, you're definitely going to be walking everywhere, and generally you will have access to teleporting, and you will have access to some kind of automated mode of transportation, like Chocobo Porters or flight points in World of Warcraft. But you usually won't have a mount, a personal mount, until a little later on into the game. And so that's basically it for this episode. Just real short, real basic episode. Navigation can be kind of daunting a little bit at first, but it's really not that bad. It's just about becoming familiar with the zone, becoming familiar with the world, figuring out where you need to go, and that's really all it boils down to. The map will help you know which direction and where you need to go, and just going there is going to help you. It's just going to help you figure out how to get there and where you need to go in order to get to where you need to go. And that's really it, guys. I hope you've enjoyed. If you have any questions or comments or any advice, anything like that, definitely leave us a comment in the comments below, or you can send us an email at ffxivandthingsmailbox@gmail.com, and we'll definitely answer any emails you send us for sure. And anything you guys want to see, anything like that, just let us know, and we'll definitely try and do it for sure. But I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you later. Say goodbye, Sig. Bye, Sig. See you guys later.